Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Ireland Live for Wednesday, the 4th of March, 2026. My name is Paul Fitzsimons. I won't be joined by anyone tonight, I don't think. I think Anthony said he might come on, so we'll see. I've loads of stuff to get through, and anyway, loads of stuff tonight. So, yeah, you can get us there on, I'm going to put it across there. You can get us on X at FitzyDub, at Casey, at Rugamorph27. You get us on YouTube at the Irish Column, at Gale Force Media, and on Facebook, Paul Fitzsimons, and on the web, https Gale Force Scooby Dooby Doo. That's it there. You can get us on WhatsApp as well. You can send us an email. You can get us on WhatsApp on 0892031521, and you'll get us an email, galeforcemedia26 at gmail.com. Have all that open there, have everything working there. We're all going good. And let's just see how. Hi, Vincent. Yeah. Hi, everyone. Evening all. Hi to all. Hi, Vincent. Galloway Rider, I stand in solidarity with the Borg family at this difficult time. Self-determination is a far greater prize than fame. Yeah, it is. And this is frightening every teacher in the country. Frightening them out of their wits' end not to say anything. Don't say nothing. That's just the way it is. Keep stum, just keep teaching the stuff. So, oh my God, I saw a video there from Malachy earlier talking about it and saying Stephen Kerr was done last week as well. Everybody who has spoke out against anything here has been dragged through the courts, me included. I was dragged through for a Mickey Mouse unlawful arrest, you know. But listen, that's just the product placement there. Just do it. McDonald's there. McDonald's are going to sponsor us. Speaking of sponsoring, if you bought the boys a coffee there, people, please do. But I got to just go through more of the comments. My chest is a bit iffy, by the way, yeah. I'm good, Chris. Missed the last couple of streams because of work. At least you can get a job, mate. You know what I mean? There's a lot of us here in this nationalist movement now can't get work at all. I went for three interviews that I know I got the job for, and I got a call the next day saying, no, we don't need you. Even though I was to be in the induction on the Saturday, like, you know what I mean? So it's just, I have a toothache as well, guys, so have to bear with me. Well, yeah, I'm now Galloway. That's what matters. Yeah, be grand. How are you, Paul? How are you doing, Chris? How's everything? John Lagan, what's up? Orla in Brussels on holiday again, Paul. Yes, and she sent me over some great videos that I'm going to play now. Now, there's probably about 20 minutes of videos, but well worth watching. Like, it's talking about the digital ID and how it's bad and not good, and yeah. So yeah, she's great. I sent her a link as well. She might come in live. We'll see. Good evening, Michael John. I got my haircut. Look, yeah, I got the haircut there. Yeah. One of the lads said I was like one of the lads from Bros. Probably the same age as them now as well. How are you, John Patrick? Good evening, Paul. Good evening, Paul, and good evening, all the patriots from Ireland and abroad from the Dacia. How are you doing, Sam? How's things, mate? In short, Paul, the message they're putting is shut your mouth. Okay. How are you, Sam? Yeah, that's it for the books. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I knew you weren't telling me to shut your mouth. This is exactly what they're doing. They're silencing everybody here. Like, listen, I know teachers, and I know young girls that are teachers that are not into this shit. You know what I mean? It's like the guards. They all have mortgages now. They're all afraid to rock the boat. They could lose their jobs. They could be called a nist or a nism. You know, it's or an obe, a phobe. You know, it's what can we do to help the Bork family? We can't sit back and let this happen. Guys, we should have been outside Mountjoy, not letting them get him back into Mountjoy. Now, I know he's being moved now to Castlereagh, but the mother and the sister are there. There should be something done. I'm being honest with you. You know what I mean? Like you had Ferg stood outside there for Jesus for a year and odd. You know what I mean? I remember it well. He was there every day. You know, but people just don't care. You know, they just don't care. It's very bad with school boards in the US. It's so wrong. Listen, it's like it everywhere. Looking gorgeous, Pop. Thank you very much. I actually got a cut off. My sister used to cut my hair for years, and like it used to look different. You know what I mean? And I was over at Barber's yesterday. A guy I used to go to years ago, Nordish Barber, and I went in and I said, "Yeah." See, where are we getting a haircut? I'm telling my sister. He said, "You need a barber, Paul." So I'm back at the barber's. So yeah, it looks good, I have to say. He told me it knocked 10 years off me. I thought, happy days. Chris Bourne, not only that, Martina Allen, they moved Enoch to Castlereagh. That's right. And I suspect it has to do with the Dublin Says No protests every Sunday. Well, the lads will go down to Castlereagh as well. I'm telling you now, they'll still go down there. I'm telling you now, I know the guys that's involved and they will go. Good evening, Chris. All good. Yeah, we're all good. I'm good. Evening, chew on a clove for that toothache. I've a litre bottle of whiskey there, a bottle of Jameson. I've just taken a little sup and putting it into it. But it's loose. I was going to just pull it today. I was driving back. I was down in Mullingar. Patrick McGreal was up in court today for the election case. And I went down just to... I forgot he doesn't do interviews. I went down to do a little... I was going to do a little bit of an interview with him, you know, and I sat down and me and him were yapping away and blah, blah, blah. One nice guy. And I have to say, I sat there and listened to him in the court. And I'm not messing. The judge had a mouth open, like, you know what I mean? He had them by the short and curlies. But they just won't grant stuff. They keep pushing it down the road. They keep saying he didn't do this and they didn't do that. And like they never got back within the 20 or within the 10 days or something like that. And this is how it's 2 years going on. And he asked today, just listen, I just want this dealt with. You know what I mean? So now he put the ball back on him saying that it was his fault for this and she wasn't granting this and she was granting that. It was the judicial system here is, but he has them with the Constitution. So yeah, I'm glad I didn't miss the stream tonight. Hope she can join us. I'm glad I didn't miss the stream. Hope she can as well. So do I. As a gay man myself, I'm totally opposed to the woke agenda. Lots of people are opposed to this. Nobody wants it. Like, oh God, have I got that video there? Just let me see if I got that there. Transgender kids. Okay, just because we're talking about this. Okay, it's only 27 seconds long. Wait to see all of these kids who are transgender and who their mummies and daddies are.
And then you look at Hollywood. How many Holly weirdos have transgender kids? Transgender is like 1 out of a million, but in Hollywood it's like 1 out of 3. And if your kid, and even when they adopt the kid, somehow the kid turns trans. So even when the kid doesn't even have your DNA and it's from China or Africa, all of a sudden it becomes trans.
There you have it. As I said before, I've been saying this all along. Weak parents. That's what this is. This is weak parenting. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? And I've been saying this for years. If you give a 5 or 6 year old child choices, they will take the choices more so than go with the flow. You know, Johnny wants to wear the dress. Smack Johnny with an Action Man and say, get in there now and play with your bleeding Action Man, or there's a football. You don't condone that. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. You just don't go, oh, you look lovely in the dress. No. Dresses are for girls. Sorry. End of. But he's just expressing himself. I don't give a shy. He's expressing himself as a girl. He's a boy. Cop on to yourself. As I said, weak parenting. Good evening, Paul and everybody. Good evening. Hang on there. Respect to the real patriots who stood at Dublin Port today and the Dáil, but I think too many egos on the right in Ireland to support a protest. Well, I'll be honest with you, Patrick, I don't think that's what went down at all, to be honest with you. John has burned an awful lot of bridges with an awful lot of people, okay? Stabbed people in the back, done dirt on people. People will not get behind John. I said this 2 weeks ago when I promoted it, that I wouldn't be going, and I didn't go. I went to Mullingar. I was actually supposed to be going to Brussels, but I didn't go to Brussels. And I said it on Sunday night, I was going to Mullingar, and that's where I went. No interest in going down anywhere near where they are. And have you seen the video? I'm going to play this video. Yeah, I'm going to just play this video. This was John earlier. It's only a minute long. I'll play it. Okay. Because John didn't get the turnouts that he was expecting. Now, I don't know who he went to, or who he didn't contact any of us. Didn't contact anyone I know. So who did he contact? But you don't just call a protest at the port to block the port unless you know you have the numbers to block the port. I called it on the 30th of July last year. I was in contact with Says No groups. I was in contact with different people. Yeah, we had a couple of hundred people to do that. And then all of a sudden, somebody in one of the groups, I had a bit of a row from Cork, a guy from Cork, you all know him very well. I called him out, and I called him a liar and a scumbag and everything else, and the crew just decided not to go with me. That's why I called that off. Okay? But you need to talk to people. You need to have dialogue with people. All of these Says No groups all around the country. You can't just go on a whim and hope that you get the numbers. You know what I mean? Where was the trucks? Where was the farmers? Like, I thought these were all on board with this. Like, you've been promoting this for the last 9 weeks. And not a farmer turned up. There wasn't even a bleeding tractor in sight. There wasn't a smell of shit. Where was all the planning? But I'm going to play the video that John put out from earlier on, okay? And we'll draw our own conclusions from this one. But let's just hear what he has to say.
Hi everybody, how are you doing? John Malloy here from the Rissa People. I'm up here at the Dáil. Now we're up here, we're actually going to camp overnight, and the reason we're camping overnight is that we're able to meet them coming into the Dáil chambers in the morning. But now I'm asking each and every one of you that are out there at the moment, if you can just give us a bit of your time, come up here, we're overnight, maybe tea and a coffee, bring us something to eat, whatever the case is, just participate in what we're doing. It's all about unity and getting people together. Okay, we understand if you can't be here all the time, if you can come up and give the people that are here, you know, just a bit of moral support. Yeah. Everybody just looks a bit of moral support. Tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, we will be here. No, I'm asking every nationalist group, every nationalist party and everything else, look at egos, zilch.
That's the way.
Unity, 100%.
Well done,
that's
John.
what it's all about, getting unity with everybody.
Well
that's
done,
basically
John.
about it.
Well done, John. Well said. Well done, brother. Oh, well said, John. Yeah, because you didn't get a crowd down to your march, you're blaming all the other nationalists on having egos, and that's why they didn't turn up. That's not why they didn't turn up, John. You know what you did. You know where you did it. You know who you did it on. Okay, so I'll get back to this in a few minutes. Okay, I have the lovely Orla. Hello there. How are you?
He's from Brussels.
Ah, well done, deadly. This is the roving reporter from Brussels. How are you? Looking very well.
I know, you can see behind me, look. The European Parliament.
Deadly.
You can see, hold on.
Lovely.
There you go.
Yeah. And how's it going? I watched one or two videos. I haven't watched them all, but I'm going to play them all now in a while. So, yeah, the two I watched were very good, now I have to say.
Yeah, no, it's been absolutely brilliant. I mean, to actually meet the likes of Christine Anderson is unbelievable. Like, I wasn't able to get an interview with her because she's just absolutely flat out, but I got a photograph and I just spoke to her for a few minutes. But to actually see these people is, you know, and hear them talk is unbelievable. Like, I mean, the speakers that were there today, they were just phenomenal. And there was a great mix. You know, you had doctors. There was, you know, people involved in economics. There's a young lad, Monty Tom. I just was chatting to him again before because a few of us have just gone for a few drinks. And he's over in the UK. He's only 20. And I sent on his video. He's just brilliant.
Yeah. Is he Reform?
Yeah, Restore, yeah.
Oh, Restore.
Yeah. Yeah. But he started speaking out when he was 14 during the lockdowns and all that. But like, he's only 20. He's just amazing the way he speaks about everything.
Yeah. And is it warm over there? Because it's warm here.
Yeah. Like, you see here behind me, right? Look. Yeah. I don't know how well you can see because it's quite dark, but it is so busy here. Like, you would not, like, I've never been over to Brussels. You wouldn't believe, we'll say, the cafe restaurant culture. Like, people are out. Like, there's loads and loads of seats outside all the restaurants and cafes, and there's like loads of people around. Like, last night we went for dinner and a few drinks, and again, everywhere you pass was busy. Like, you
Don't
wouldn't think
start
you'd done
doing
it.
any businesses over there now. Don't start that now. Don't be going international.
I did O'Reilly's pub. I was dying for a Bulmers, right? Could not get cider anywhere. And I said, right, we need to go to an Irish bar. Went to an Irish bar and they were actually really sound. And they come over and gave us like shamrock key rings. But I got me Bulmers. So I did a video of them today.
Yeah. I have them videos there. I'm going to play them in the next few minutes. I just want to address this here. Horty words are bullshit. Think of the country. Okay, I'm thinking of the country. Okay, I'm still not going to the protest. Simple as. Am I the only one that wasn't there, lads? You know what I mean? Am I the only one that wasn't there? There was 20 people there. And that's our fault because we have egos. There's a bigger picture here, lads. There's a man, if you draw a pie chart there, and the thing in the middle, that's the man who didn't get the crowd, okay? And there's a reason why he didn't get it, because he's falling out with so many people, okay? I will save the country if I can. Trust me. Sorry, Orla, go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's grand. Look, as I said, I won't be staying on very long. I'm only 9% because I used my battery thing earlier on. Because just when you're doing so many interviews and different things, it just wears down the battery. And then I went to plug it back in and I was like, oh no, it's gone.
Oh, wow.
So
Jesus.
anyway, look, I'm back tomorrow. Flight's in the morning, so.
Oh, it's only one day. I thought it was tomorrow as well.
No. Well, the thing I was at today now was only for today.
Oh, okay.
But this was all about the digital ID today. But it was just brilliant. Like, I mean, as I said, I wasn't able to film all the interviews because each interview was maybe 15 minutes or more. So I just kind of took bits of them because I just wouldn't have the storage, you know, and there's no way you couldn't put up like a 15, 20-minute video from everybody, you know, for the show. But you should just see the place here. It is so busy. It's unbelievable. The amount of people walking around the streets.
Migrants, no.
An awful lot of women with the hijabs. You would really notice the amount of women. But I was talking to somebody, and he lives over here. He's Irish, like, and he was saying that 50 to 60% of Brussels is Muslim.
Yeah.
Do you know?
That for a fact.
Yeah, but you definitely notice it with the women, the amount of them walking around. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's crazy. But,
who's the co-host tonight?
Just me, myself, and I.
Where's Anthony and Martin?
Anthony said he might get on later on. Yeah,
right.
He might get on in a while.
Okay.
It's Lorraine's birthday today. Happy birthday, Lorraine.
All right. Happy birthday, Lorraine.
Tomorrow.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that's it. So just chilling out, and yeah, sure. I said the flight's back tomorrow, so.
No problem. Sure, I'll see you. I was down in Mullingar. I was going to scoot back that way today if you hadn't been there, but I might go down Friday. I might drive down Friday just to sort out whatever we need to sort out, and I have to drop down to Anthony as well. So yeah, that's what we do. Friday will be a day. We'll see. We might even have a scoop. We might even have a Bulmers.
There you go. You can buy me one.
I will. Yeah, I will.
I know.
Speaking of lads, if you want to buy a Bulmers, throw it in there, please.
Listen, you can buy me Bulmers when I come back to Ireland because I can't get a fucking Bulmers here unless I go to an Irish pub.
Is it not Magners? Is it Magners over there?
No. I'm in this place called the beer. What's it called? The Beer Factory, right? And I was able to get cider. Now it's not. Look, it's all right. But anywhere else, we went to a few different places. There was no cider at all. Wow. You know. So like it's all right for the lads. They were drinking like, you know, we'll say the craft beer and all that. One of the lads ordered a craft beer. It was so funny, like, and it came out. It was like a soup bowl.
No.
You know, but and look, I think the prices here seem to be kind of on par as, you know, over in Ireland. I wouldn't say they're overly expensive. A couple of places we ate it now. Yeah, it was kind of the same. But what gets me here is how busy it is. But I'd love to know with these cafes, is it more tourists than locals? Like what the percentage is? I mean, I don't know now, but like everywhere you go, there's loads of people outside. I think it was up at 19 degrees today.
Yeah, it was 18.5 degrees today. I was seeing it on the thing. Yeah. Yeah,
because we did a hop on, hop off bus this morning, like, and it was grand. Like, do you know what I mean? It just we're kind of restricted on time because we had to be over to the Parliament for 4:00. But it was great to kind of just go around and see the place. Sorry?
It starts at 4, does it?
No, we had to be in to go through security.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And what,
You
it
know,
goes
so
on for the evening then? Is it 5 till about
no,
9 or
it
something?
started just after 5 and it finished around 7:30 because there was loads of speakers. Like I sent over, like with say Andrew Bridgen as well, met him and he spoke for a few minutes. Like there was just loads of speakers, and then I nabbed Aisling Constantine and Rob Carey for interviews as well. See,
I've
nobody's
seen
safe,
that,
Paul
yeah.
O'B.
I know, it's great. It's great, it is,
I
yeah.
know we'll get to a stage where people are like, "Oh Christ, is Orla, run!"
Yeah. Will you go on back in and have your dinner then, or
I
whatever
am
you're
because I'm
having, your
down.
couple of drinks?
Yeah, I'm down at 5%. So, right, sure, I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thank
Good
you
night.
very much.
No
And
problem.
brilliant report and fair play to you. Thank you. I'll
No
talk to you
problem.
later
Good
on.
night. Good
Cheers.
night.
Bye. Fair play. That was live from Brussels. Farmers Brexit, yeah. I'm just going to go back through some of these. Yeah, that's your culture, Aura. Yeah. Very cute blonde. Who was on your side? Orla is getting well oiled, Paul. Yeah. With the cost of living crisis, can Orla afford to be in Brussels and have money to buy that drink and food? We sent her. We said, yeah, no, we didn't. I'm only joking. Who blamed you alone? There is more than you involved. My point exactly. Yes, exactly. But you need to ask the question, why? That's what you need to ask the question. Why did nobody turn up? You know, you're just throwing it all back saying, oh, he's a nice man. He's this, he's that. Like, have you seen any of the protests that John does call? John jumps on the bandwagon on everything and just calls a protest willy-nilly. You need to organise a protest. You can't just say, let's all meet in 6 weeks' time at the thing and not organise it and not have the people. I'm sorry. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? That's just the way it is. Very disappointed turnout of the port to be. The country is gone. I don't care who fell out. My feet bit the streets regardless. Fair play to you, Adele. I wasn't going into it. I'm sorry. No, sorry. He'd bite you as well soon enough. Don't worry. Well done, or a safe journey. The right in general. Yeah, well, listen. You need to ask yourself why. That's what you need to ask yourself. It's not up to me to come on here and educate you. We tried to educate a couple of months ago about it and nobody listened. Like, John knows what he did on people. John knows what he did on us. So I won't be doing anything with John Malloy ever again. And if he wants to throw that back on me to say I'm not saving my country, well, then you do that. Okay, I'm doing my bit here. I'm doing what I can. Okay? I go to all these protests. I go to everything. But I told you weeks ago I wasn't going to this. And what everyone probably listened to me, did they? And said, oh, let's not go because Fitzy's not going. No, there's a reason why they all didn't go. Enjoy yourself. Oh, it looks like Christianity is being crushed if Brussels fall. Well, it's 60%. That's what you said. Yeah. Beer factory sounds like a good place to start. Yeah. I lived in Belgium. They are locals. Yeah. Angela Leggett. Pat Farrell, I did the last all camp out and some shouted at Healy Ray. John told him to stop. That was the point in camping out in the corner quietly. Yeah, what was the point in camping out in the corner quietly? Yeah, absolutely nothing. There's a reason why an awful lot of other patriots weren't there as well, is because the last, as Angela said there, that at that one there was 3 people battered by police in O'Connell Street before, at the GPO, before they even marshaled it all. And then people walked away. When they seen John up there laughing and joking with the coppers, people just walked away and said he'd never go back. Never. No, sorry. And that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. And thanks, Angela. I remember that well because Martin told me the same thing. Are the left not funded? It's not. Is that not their job? So easy for them to get organised. No. They're all getting money. Yeah. I'll second that, Paul. Stand by your principles, mate. Yeah. Daniel Fagan. How are you, Daniel? John is not the worst in the world. We can't be enemies in this fight. I'm not enemies with anyone in this fight. I just don't want that to do with John Malloy. Simple. Okay? So if anyone is having a protest, don't get John Malloy involved in it. That way you'll get more people going to the protest. That's just the way it works, lads. Sorry. John Malloy had an opportunity to come on and speak, and he ignored it. Yeah, well, listen, because he knew I was telling the truth. I was telling the truth. He did say all them things, and he did try to do all them things. And I'm going to ask you a question. The risen people called this protest today. Okay, Shannon Adina called the protest last year in Limerick, and we got thousands at it. The risen people called this protest today, and they got 20 people at it. Is there not as many people in the risen people? Because you did take a lot of people off Shannon Adina, John. Do you remember? The way you went in poaching people and telling people lies and telling people stories about the leaders of Shannon Adina and the leaders of Ireland Force and everything else. Do you forget them things, John? I don't. Okay. Divide and conquer seems to be working. Yeah, well, it's not. I'm not dividing and conquering anyone, to be honest with you. I'll stand with anyone, but I won't stand with him. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? There you go. John is talking to the coppers a few minutes ago, and he was bad mounting Pepper and Steenson. Yeah. Yeah, of course. Why? Did he reach out to these people? Did he answer calls from these people when these people rang him back? I don't know about Malachy, but was there not calls made? And, you know, you're bad mounting people there. This is exactly what you're doing, John. You're turning this. He's turning this back on all of us for his failings. Get a grip. Get a life. Or just go back to Donegal and do what you do up there. Because you've done fuck all in Donegal. Let's be honest about it. Vincent Brown, exactly, Paul. Who are the risen people? I've only ever heard him saying it. Yes, that's exactly it. The risen people. I'll tell you who the risen people are. The risen people are people who were members of Shannon Adina, who were poached out of Shannon Adina to try and take over Shannon Adina. And them same people are not with the risen people anymore because they copped onto them too. So do a bit of homework, lads, before you start putting stuff in the comments about me or about Gavin Pepper or about anyone else or Malachy or anyone else. Listen, I've no time for Malachy at all, to be honest with you. But I'm not having John Malloy slagging off people who are doing a bit. You know what I mean? Yeah. When was the last Enoch Burke you were at? When was the last Enoch Burke you were at? Geez, it would have been last year. Would have been last year. It was called Outside the Joy, and we all went outside the joy. When was it? Sometime last year, towards the end of last year. Yeah. Keir Starmer has stopped the boat crossing the channels. HMS Dragon. Yeah. Gale Force Media regularly talking to coppers everywhere. Yes, exactly. John also called out Anthony at the GPO, but Anthony had been at every march. It was totally out of order. This is what John does. Do you see the divide and conquer here now, lads? Who's dividing and conquering now? There was no need for him to come out and make that video. Well, it's all better come out and, yeah, the Nationalist, the National Party. The National Party's there with him. There's one of the lads from the National Party there with him. I seen him in the video. So, you know, fair play to the National Party for backing John. I won't. And why is there nobody else there with him? They're the questions you need to be asking. Yeah. PRG, I don't know what that means. Throwing shade at Anthony is not a good look. No, listen. All of these people who came out and told lies about us, they've all been found out. Where's the captain now? And was he not on board with the captain there? The captain was his best mate there for a while. John's in bed with everyone. Tries to keep in bed with everyone. Stabs people in the back and then tells other people stories about them and then gets this. Listen. We know what John is, okay? Hello, and bad-mouthing patriots to the guards is not good. No, it's not good. It's not good. Even talking to the guards is not good. I'm sorry. These people are kicking the shit out of us over there. They're bleeding, slaughtering us with batons, and you go over and talk to them. Ask me who, will you? Get a grip. Hello, all. They move Burke back to all... because of all the attention, yeah, the whole Burkean fiasco was beyond ridiculous at this point. It serves no purpose. Yeah. Shop the arguments if we want to save the country, or we may hand it over now. Stop the arguments. Lads, listen, we tried all this. We've called for unity. We've done all this. Some people just don't want it. Simple as. Is the sound off? I fucking hope it's not off because I'm meant to be talking there for the last 10 minutes. Yeah. Is the sound off? No. All right, folks. Wasn't John Malloy an ex-guard? I couldn't tell you. Couldn't tell you. I haven't got a clue. I think he's a plasterer or something. Talking to the peelers is never cool. I'm just trying to play a video here. This is from, hang on. I got it there. Yeah, this is from Anthony. I'm going to go and make a cup of coffee. So I'll play this and we'll come back. This is just Anthony. I think he's just explaining a few things.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's Anthony Casey here. And I want to speak to you today on behalf of, well, really I'm going to talk to you on behalf of everything that I've been involved with. Because recently the censorship has hit an all-time high. People generally are wondering what's going on with Shin Nadina, what's going on with Ireland First, what's going on with Gale Force Media. And I've even seen some people say, why are people doing podcasts now? What's all this about? Well, I can explain exactly what it's about. I've never cut corners, or I've never hid away from the fact that there's 3 ways to win this war in the state. I believe it is a war in the state. Our identity is being eradicated, our children's safety, the ideology, everything that's there. It's fine to go to these rallies and speak among ourselves and say the same speeches over and over again. And we have gotten a lot of ways, and we have garnered a few people on with us. And we've been doing that for the last few years. And it's great. Banging the drum about the truth is what we need. But we also need to be more dynamic, because the plan for Ireland is digitalisation, surveillance state, control. And we're hurtling towards that at the rate we're going. And when, as a nationalist, you try and sit back and say, well, there's maybe more dynamic ways of doing this, it's generally your own who come out and say, look at this guy's doing, and critique you rather than rowing in. The 3 ways that I've always approached this is the policy, the people, and the narrative. That's the 3 things you need. What's the policy? Ireland First. Native Irish policy. But not just that. You also want teachers and nurses on board who can tell you what would keep them in this country or what would bring them back to this country. You want people, experts in all fields. And we were very outright in saying that was our whole plan with Ireland First. We set up all these committees and we asked for experts to come on and help us with these policies. That's the policy. The other is the people. That was Shin Nadina. That was people on the ground. That was communities. That was patrols. That was self-sufficiency. And that we had all these committees, similar footprint, that would have people in there showing you how to grow, how to hunt, how to do whatever. But also link in with you if you were worried about going down to your local area at night time, which we do know a lot of people are in that position now. And the third thing was a narrative. And we've always had the Irish column, and we're trying to step it up because we don't see honest media anywhere. We see a lot of gatekeeping. We see a lot of people being funded by certain things, but we don't see honest media. All my Instagram accounts got taken down recently because I interviewed a homeless man, a homeless Irish man who was living outside the Ukrainian centre in Clonmel, a complex that cost the taxpayer 65 million, 785 grand per unit. I drove through it and I showed it. We put a GoFundMe up for that man, and the second that went up, they took me down. They took Ireland First page down on Instagram. They took down Shin Nadina. They took down my own one. They took down even things that weren't even related to it. I had a personal training thing called Casey Conditioning. That's gone. The Casey brothers were me and my brothers toured the country playing music for years. That's gone. And they took one Facebook account off me. And what I mean account is because I have access to Shin Nadina, to Ireland First, to Casey Conditioning, to my own personal one. I also had a separate one called the AKC podcast. That's the only one they took. That tells me that they're worried that we're going to steal the narrative from them. And that's what we intend on doing. But the fact that they're worried and they're going out of their way makes me think that means there's a chance that we can actually win it, that we can actually do it, that we can be successful, because they're worried for some reason. I've seen a lot of people come out against us over the last few years. Different faces trying to get us to play into it. And this is why I unfollowed everyone on Facebook at the moment, because I'm just using social media as a platform to get these people's stories out. And there's lots of people who have whistleblowing stories or experiences. Have they been wronged by the state, or corruption, or what's going on in the country right now? So that's what I'm doing right now. There's no elections on the horizon, so I am focusing on getting the narrative back for us. There's no gatekeeping. Anyone in the whole movement, or without them outside the movement, can come and sit down with me and tell their story. And there'll be more to come. And we'll always gear it up and look for new dynamic ways to do things. And there's a lot of people sitting on the couch and to give out about that, and that's fine. My upset is the people who aren't rowing in. They can row in with something else, but row in with something, because we're running out of time. At the moment, we have Orla over in Brussels listening to how the digital ID is being rolled out. And it's coming this year. You can see social media closing down. You can see the banks. You can see why they're pushing for the EVs. You can see the diesel prices go up to deter you from buying diesel and petrol. All these things are coming. So that's what we're at the moment. We're intending on taking down the mainstream media. And if we get blocked on social media for doing it, then we'll go out to motorway bridges and do it. We'll leaflet on the ground and do it. And we'll bring people's stories. And if you have a story you want to tell, if you want to do an interview, if you have something worth saying, then reach out and do it. And help us do that. Because that's what we're trying to build. So that's where we are right now. The world certainly is a stage. We've seen a lot with the Epstein files, a lot of sickening things. Even the presidential election where you had a good guy and a bad guy. But the state was always going to do the same thing. So here we are in 2026. We need to look after our own patches. When you're in a WhatsApp group, there's no point in sharing the news. We all know about these clips that are going on. But we've seen it all. We've heard it all. We need to get stuck in and look after our own patch. So that's what I'm about. And in a way, yeah, I did unfollow people because I could care less what they're saying. Because I know what I'm doing is the right way. I know that from sitting down with the crew around me that are helping me, and they're trying to do the same. Of course we need to steal the narrative back. We all know this. So that's where we are. So Gale Force Media will be a massive player over the next few years in this country. And there's a lot of things that we are working on at the moment that will shock a lot of people. And the reason we're doing it is because it casts a wider net. We break outside the bubble of nationalism. We try and wake people up to what's going on so they can mass non-comply. That's what it's about. We need to push back and look after our own. Because it's grand to say these things are written. We know they're written. We know what's coming. We know they're doing it across the Western world, all in lockstep. But it doesn't mean we have to make it easy. It doesn't mean that we can create something to say no to a digital ID and work with each other. Last week I started a Facebook group called Nationalist Business, and that was for anyone that had skills, anyone who had their own business within the nationalist movement, who has felt that they've been shadow banned from the industry, that we can share and work with each other. That if you know an electrician up the road and he's someone who's been struggling to get work because of his stance for his community, hire him. All little tools that can help. And we will be doing campaigns and festivals, and we won't be limiting the guest list. Everybody who stood up for their country should be allowed there, and everyone who agrees should be allowed there. And everyone who doesn't agree, who wants to learn more or challenge the narrative, then they're all welcome to it. So that's where we are, and that's what we're doing. And we would appreciate if you help, because who's to say that you can't come on and tell your story or help us find an angle or tell us what's going on in your local area that needs highlighting. That's what it's about. So that's where we are, 4th of March 2026. And I hope to talk to you all soon. Thank you.
Thank you there, Anthony. That was a good one there. I couldn't have put it any better myself. Fair play to him. Just why has the momentum gone from the right-wing Irish people? 2 years ago, people all over the world were in awe. Tommy Robinson said he was jealous. Badly need a 100,000 march. Yes, we do badly need a 100,000 march. But it's no good marching 100,000 people up and down a street in Dublin. If you get 100,000 people on the streets, you need to shut down the whole city, country even. And this lack of going to Dublin Port, I'm sorry, no. We spoke about this last year. We weren't just doing one port last year. We were doing the whole lot. We were doing airports as well. Do you remember? And then we called off the airports because people might have been going on holidays. They got a bit pissed off. Okay, that's what we did. But listen, until the Coolock flag went up to Belfast, I'm being honest with you, this movement was skyrocketing. Coolock says no was the epicenter of this movement in Ireland. Do you know what I mean? Everyone was watching Coolock, the court case going on, with loads of stuff going on. And for whatever reason, somebody thought it was a good idea to bring a flag, the tricolour, and Coolock says, no, Banner, up to Belfast to a march. And that sort of backfired. So that's when I think it all went wrong, to be honest with you. Prick's taking his page. I mean, they've taken all of our page. Well, not mine. Mine is all right. But Anthony Casey. Yeah. I'm not sure, Dougal. Don't know. Still other people chatting to people for a few minutes at demos, etc. Social media needs to be dismantled as it's causing more issues than bridging division. Yeah, I agree, yeah. But without X and the social media, we wouldn't be getting out here tonight. You know what I mean? So, yeah, our movement must become global. Our movement was global. They were talking about it everywhere. But listen, with the show here now, this goes out everywhere. It goes out on a platform. So there's people watching us from Cleveland, Ohio, from New York, from Australia. So, yeah, it's brilliant. And once we can keep the narrative going, we need action now or become minority in the next 20 years. We know that keeping Ireland Irish should be our number one priority. We need Indians, Polish, etc. But they can't keep swapping this country with people. Yeah, swamping this bit. Yeah, you're right. You're right. RTE on the ropes. Yeah, and hold on, RTE. Yeah, did somebody send me something? Hang on. RTE is not. Yeah, that's it there. Yeah, hang on. I want to plug this one. Yeah, just bear with me there. Speaking of RTE, I don't know why am I? Oh, I know what's wrong. That's better. The light was on in the background. Yeah, I just want to share this here. This is for RTE. If you can make this, people. And again, I'm putting this out because I put out all of these things. I will be going to that one. I will be there for that one. Yeah, I definitely will be. Excess Deaths Walk, Ireland's Excess Deaths, Grim Truth, Friday the 20th of March, 11 a.m, meeting at the RTE studios in Donnybrook and walking 5 kilometres to the Irish Times office on Tara Street. Bring a small tree or a plant, a cross, a wreath, a photograph, a memento to leave at the door of the Irish Times to let them know you know. They are covering up 25,000 excess deaths in Ireland since 2021. So people, if you're about, this is not a camp out all night job. This is not bringing farmers. This is not bringing all sorts of whatever, calling them all over the country to come to Dublin. If you're in Dublin this day, people, please make your way here. This good people are organising this and we need to do this. I'll be there. Yeah. Gale Force Media will be there too. We'll be reporting on it. So Friday the 20th of March, guys, 11 a.m. If you can make it there, please do. What's this girl saying about fucking Islam? Paul, if they're decay with that tooth, suck the area of the tooth until the infection comes out and you hit blood, spitting as you go. Bingo, no toothache. Okay. I'll be honest with you, I was coming back up from Mullingar today and I was nearly just getting out of my tools in the boot. I was nearly just getting out and getting the voice grips and just ripping her out. That's how much pain. I had a couple of Cody Parr in the car and I just took 2 and I was grand then after that. Never forget the left wing and right wing are working bipartisan to bring in a new world order. The only cure is real nationalism. Yeah. Paul, you should invite one of the ladies from the National Women's Council. I will indeed. Yes, I will. Yeah, I'll talk to Jana. I have Jana's number. I haven't got Jana's number. There was a lady who was supposed to send it to me, or maybe she did send it to me. I'll check back through that. I had got Jana's number and I had everybody's number. And before Christmas, the phone went belly up and lost everything. So I had to get a new phone. Oh, wait to see this one. This is a view. Wait to see this one. Look at this, baby. Look at that. It's a whopper, isn't it? Had to buy that the other day. So now it's working perfect. So I'm good now. Yeah. I will have one of the girls on. Yeah, no problem. Anthony is right. Truth tellers are being cancelled by big platforms. Restore Britain has had members cancelled on TikTok. Elon. Yeah, I know. I've been watching all this going on in Ireland. Even Ireland, I think, is crazy what's going on. The censorship is frightening. Yet we are getting censored. Like we're only up to 500 there now. Like usually we're probably nearly up to 1,000 now at this moment in time. Well, we're only up to 500. So, hey, listen, 500's good. 500's good. But 500 is better than 100 or 20. It's better than 20. So, yeah. Let me just see more comments. If we don't sort something today, 20 years from now, we look back and ask, why didn't we listen? Good work, lads. Cheers, Peter. How are you, mate? I'd like to get you on one of the nights to talk to me about this climate change. I remember I'm going to be honest with you, I was only looking through a video. Do you remember it was about 3 years ago outside the SIAC building in Clondalkin? And I had only met you, and I'd done a little interview with you, and I only watched it back the other night. Jesus, it was a savage interview. I must play it, but I'd like to get you on one of the nights to talk about this climate change bullshit. Because you were actually, you weren't a professor, were you? Or you were something, weren't you? You were high up in that thing. I remember you telling me this. But yeah, I'll get you on one of the nights, Peter. If we don't sort something out, yeah. Pat Walsh, we need a protest on the weekend, not in the middle of the week. Well, I'm going to be honest with you, Pat. The only way to do an all-out protest, I think, is midweek and shut down the whole country. It's no good shutting down the country on a Saturday. You're only pissing people off who've worked all week. So I'm not with you on that one, mate. I'd rather have a Wednesday or a Thursday and you shut down the whole country. If you did it on a Thursday, you'll do a Thursday and Friday. And they listen. Trust me. Well, they don't call you the Fighting Irish for nothing. And if anyone can turn this around, it's the Irish. Good luck, fellas. Thanks very much, Gary. Fair play. They were trying their best. I'm neither right nor left. I'm based on truth. Left and right are two coins. That they're all this. Yeah. Same in America. Republicans, Democrats, same wings of the same boards. You know what I mean? What's the story? Forgot the show was on tonight. That's no problem. Peaceful demos have served their time. Now it's time for real activism. Yes. Jesus. We badly need people to turn up the excess death march on the 20th. Yeah. Irish Times building and Tussler then on the 4th of the 4th. I'll be at both of them. I will be at both of them. Ferg, don't you worry. Build consensus is the key to success. The lamestream, bought and paid legacy are destroying us. That's a fact. They have all their hands on the tools, and we have pretty much, yeah. But we're trying to take back this narrative, and it's not easy, lads. I'm being honest with you. Like, it's RTE 750 million off the government. Gale Force Media, the lads are pulling in their labour to try and get this off the ground. You know, that sort of way. So it's like we're getting there, but it's very, very slow. And we need a bit of a cash injection to come into us to get us going with different things. With the studio, we were trying for a studio, and that sort of fell through. So we'll have to leave that on the slow burner for a couple of weeks. And we'll go back and revisit that and see, can we organise a studio? We do need a studio. I think we need a studio. Yeah, fair play, Paolo. No problem, Ferg. That's no problem. Billy Bogus, we stood outside the GAA then and you handed it to the Muslims. We protested. That's where I met Paul. That's right, Angela. Yeah. Do you remember that? Yeah. Dude, that's 2 years we've done it there. It is our 3 years. We've done that a few times, yeah. But the GAA. Okay, I'm going to ask a question as well. You seen what happened to the GAA last weekend, the way they all went in and they all did what they had to do. Were any of them people arrested? I didn't see one guard. Not one guard. Now, if that was me went in with my flag and everything else, them guys from the GAA would have turned around and said, I feared for my life. That Mr. Fitzsimons, he's a terrible man. What have you been doing for a year? Two-tier justice. Crow Park, Bloody Sunday, 1920. Black and tans, Muslims mocking shame on the GAA. Yeah. Cloves are supposed to be good for a toothache. Whiskey's even better. But no, I have cloves there. Yeah. I'm gonna take a hot whiskey now in a while anyway because my throat's in a heap as well. Get their slimy hands off. Yeah. Paul, I did not know that you're a size queen. Okay. Paul buying burner phones now. No, it's actually you want to see the video of it, man. It's sad. I got it for doing interviews and what have you. Bobby Sands was a Christian, not a fucking Muslim. Yeah. I have asked the question before. What is our plan? Don't say it, but I haven't seen any plans. Someone needs to take the reins from EU like Hungary. Yeah, you're right. I actually have Viktor Orban talking about that now in a minute. Blessing it says, no, put QR code up again, please. We need to keep the truth out there. Yeah. Okay, let me just find it. Yeah, we put it up there now. People were texting me there. People texted me last week. How are you, Paul? Yeah, I hadn't got, what you call it? I haven't got Revolut, but I got my daughter to do it. Fair play. It's great when the daughters have the Revolut. I put up the Revolut there now just to share it. Bada bing, bada boom. And then I'm going to go on to videos there for. There's the QR code there, people. If you want to, and I put in the, what you call it there? Oh, God. But all has gone in the gargle. Fair play to her. And have you noticed we haven't had in any of them mad jokes in the last couple of weeks? Giving us stick. Billy, how is the English black and has more than Irish people? A shame of the GAA. It's the likes of the GAA that has protected our culture down through the years. They've sold us out now, giving this to these. I'm sorry, Brendan. They have. You know, it's a migrant centre in there. Like it's an iPad centre. They actually keep people in Crow Park. Yeah. Yeah, Brendan, GAA sellouts. Yes, they are. You're right. I'm the same. Did you see last year, Brendan, the Muslim called to prayer inside Crow Park? Yeah, everyone's seen it. Loads of police down in the bushes in East Wall, Clontarf, Paul. Oh, okay, fair enough. Okay, there's loads of lads in there in tents. Is that down on the Alfie-Bourne Road? Yeah. Guards aren't allowed in GAA grounds. All Muslims welcome. Yeah. The GAA dug up Crow Park in 2014 and replaced it with soil imported from England. I love Viktor Orban. I do myself. Gale Force Media. There you go, boys. A copy. Paul, I had a toothache when I was on an oil rig. Couldn't get it sorted. So a bottle of Jameson I drank. I got a pair of pointed grips. Yeah, right. I'm the same, man. I'll go all Rambo on this. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm the same. When the pain is that bad, you just have to do something, man. I was driving up and I'm moving it. I can hear, you know, the way you know yourself with a tooth when you move it and you hear like that, you know, that it's coming away, and then you try it this side, and I could feel it coming. But the pain just got mental, I swear to God. Yeah. Paul too. Yeah. I done the same. I noticed that Paul wouldn't call them otherwise. Yeah. I was suggesting shutting down on a Monday. People don't mind Monday off work. Yeah, maybe Tuesday is best. Yeah, listen, you have to take into consideration all these things, and like people just don't do that. Yeah, Paul, you have to start questioning the misuse of midazolam. Yeah, on elderly patients in our hospitals and care homes. Yeah, I know. I have. I think I have a couple of videos on that from last year, the year before. And did you know, people, that the guy who actually brought this to the attention of the British authorities committed suicide? Yeah. He committed suicide. Apparently, he committed suicide. He must have knew the Clintons. Paul, you're so right about those in control owning the electorate. The key is to hit them in the pocket with undeniable policy through taxation incentives, unpalatable decisions. I know. Just twist it. Oh, Paul, just twist the tooth and pull. Yeah, okay, I will. Toothache is no joke. I respect your pain, Paul. Yeah. I have a little drop of whiskey in the McDonald's cup there. That's one. God. I felt that. More Jameson, Paul. Yeah. I actually got it for Martin because Martin likes an old drop of Jameson. You know what I mean? Like when we do meet up, like we polish up a bottle of Jameson in a few minutes. Yeah. I was doing that. Okay, I'm gonna play. What's her name? Baby, where is she? Did I not pull that down? Oh, I did. I'll have a look now. Sorry, my bad. Christine Anderson. Where is she? Okay, we'll play that now in a few minutes, but playing the victim. When you see this now,
further and further away from themselves. And misogyny has been discussed at length already today, but I wanted to use a real-time example for that one, because I was on the Tonight Show last night. And I get the usual, as you know, I'm sure yourself, Minister, hate online from that. But I just took a little look at the 4 first clips that were put up of me and Minister Neil Richmond, who is on the panel with me. Under the 2 clips of his contributions on Twitter, there's 9 and 3 comments, respectively. Under the 2 clips that were put up at the same time from the same show of me are 156 and 171 comments, respectively. Now, they are not nice. There's a lot of the C word, that one that rhymes with blunt. There's a lot about calling me a man. I'm consistently transvestigated online because I talk about trans rights issues. It's horrible. Like, it's just so. But I think that is such a clear example that I get that all politicians, all public representatives get hate online. But that, to me, the Minister would have a much higher profile than I would. He's been a politician much longer than I am. So apart from the fact that maybe I have less likability factor or something, even accounting for that, even still, that seems a clear example to me of misogyny and how women are bearing the brunt of these issues. The Minister is gone, but I thought he might like one particular tweet or reply that was added saying, she's giving Patrick O'Donovan a run for his money as the biggest idiot in Leinster House. I mean,
Yeah. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I fell into the same trap. I remember seeing her in the elections in 2020. She was running, I was out in, I think she's Blackrock or somewhere. And I thought there was a guy in my job, right? Transitioned into a woman, right? Still a man, okay? But he looked like her. That's who she, and I questioned it then. That was what, 2020? I questioned it, yeah. Oh, and I probably shouldn't have, you know what I mean? She's a real lefty, that one. She is. But it's okay. See, this is what gets me. She's looking for more hate speech stuff to come in. She's looking for the ministers to help her out here, to stop getting slagged online. Jesus, we have girls that get death threats every night, every other night. You know what I mean? You have Debs. Debs is one of our friends, one of the nationalist girls. She puts up with dogs abuse. You have D Wall puts up with dogs abuse, death threats and everything else. But there's nothing ever said about them because they're with us. They're not with them. And the law needs to change here. The police need to start helping us the way they're helping them, but they won't. So this is why we have to fight the police with the police. So in the next couple of weeks, you could have a groundbreaking case coming up now after April. So watch this space. It's me that's involved. Antichrist, yeah. The dentist in Northwood Shopping Centre, Brian Mooney upstairs, will take you in the morning. He's good. Okay, I'll check it out. Angela, no problem. Well, she is a C word that rhymes with blunt. The only thing I agree with. Funny font. What percentage of the Irish populace is employed by the state and have family? That's the key for me to break the stranglehold. The change has to come in the pocket to win votes. That's simple. Yeah. But the people, there's an awful lot of, like, I'd say half the people employed are employed by the state through NGOs or unions or whatever. Yeah, definitely. 50%. She's being transvestigated. Yes, it's not misogyny because women don't like your attitude either. Yeah. Cunny flirt. Yeah, yeah. What was the other one? Cupid stunt. Yeah. Jacinta Ardern lookalike. Yeah, yeah. Ha, Cupid stunt. Yeah, there you go. Cheers, Dougal. Yeah. Be proud like the Germans, French, Spanish, etc., who follow their own football teams, not English teams. You have no problem supporting English teams who play Muslims and coloured people. No, I haven't. Okay, I have no problem. Liverpool, I'm a Liverpool supporter. I have no problem. I'd rather support Liverpool than support the likes of Bohemians with the Refugee Welcome Committee. I'm sorry. No. Yeah, I'm a Liverpool supporter. And yeah, Mo Salah is Muslim. There's probably 8 of them on it Muslim. There's Protestants, there's Catholics, there's Christians. They're footballers. You know what I mean? I'm not here to judge people over their religion or anything like that. They're playing football. End of story. They're not going out on the pitch giving her all the Allah Akbar shit. No, they're not. So let them just play their game. Neil Richmond is a tool as well. He's an awful tool, definitely. Death threats against anyone speaking out is normal in the UK now. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Poor whore. She's paid to look after her constituency, but uses her time for self-promotion and playing victim. Yeah, and isn't your woman? Next is a Saturday morning, the security thing, Ruth Coppinger in Blanchardstown. So yeah, that's where Gale Force Media will be on Saturday morning to ask Ruth a few questions. Just to find out, is it okay for white women and Irish women to be attacked and raped? That she won't talk about it, but she'll talk as soon as a foreigner is attacked or anything like that happens. She's up there now, you know what I mean? But if you're white, it doesn't matter. She needs to ask herself, could it have been policies or the agenda she is pushing? Yes, exactly. That's what it is. They're sock thems. Because we are harder and old school, not this new age show. Yeah, you're right, Bridgie. That's why I say, Paul. Yeah, cheers. Lefties get hurty words. We get beaten, battered, pepper sprayed, and persecuted. Never said a truer word. Fair play to you. People vote with their pockets. Yes, rich people vote these people in. Poor people don't bother their arse voting. People on the social welfare don't bother voting. And the funny thing is, it's a 3% or is it 5% of the electorate could be more, are unemployed on social welfare. Like, they're the people. You can't go around saying you're going to cut people's social welfare and expect to be elected. You know, come on. That's the bleeding. That's the kiss of death. That is, like, you're never going to get in if you talk like that. You know what I mean? But they're the people we need to be getting now. Gerard Hutch is right. What he did a couple of weeks ago, he's knocking on doors, getting people to register to vote. That's what we need to do. Get them out to register to vote. If your ma, your dad, your auntie, your uncle, anyone you know who's not registered, get over and get them registered. Doesn't matter who you're voting for. It's no good. You can't vote unless you're registered. So you can't go around saying, oh, this is shit, isn't it? Yeah, it's shit because you didn't vote. You know what I mean? And you're telling us it's shit because you didn't vote. If you had a voted, probably it wouldn't be shit. You know what I mean? Oh, it doesn't make any difference. Well, then just vote then. Facts. Yeah, okay, I'm going to kick off Christine Anderson is the first one here. Okay, this is just from today. Orla sent me a few of these, few good ones about digital ID. Now, it was about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, as I said. I'll go through a few of them. And we've Andrew Bridgen as well talking. So Elaine Mullally is talking as well. Elaine spoke there today, and there's a few of them there spoke. So we'll kick off with Christine Anderson.
Years I've been talking about digital ID now. I've been warning about it, but it was usually dismissed as some conspiracy theory. I was hallucinating. I was making things up, and I was trying to frighten people. You know, the fear-mongering narrative, of course, was thrown in there too. And here we are today. Virtually, I mean, it's not only the EU Commission, virtually every single government, especially the Western democracies, are talking about digital ID. And they're not just talking about it, they are implementing it. They are working on it, it has high priority, and they are determined to push this through no matter what. And they will not take no for an answer. So it is high time for us to once again, in massive attempts to try to wake up the people of what is to come. Do you remember the COVID certificate, the green digital certificate that it was called here in the EU? That was supposedly for our health. They they were concerned about our health. Well, let me tell you, they weren't. They were not. It was actually introduced. It was like a test balloon. They were implementing it and getting people used to having to show something wherever they went, whether it be a supermarket or a shoe store or riding on a bus or even getting into a movie theater. That's what they were implementing at that point. They were getting you used to showing some form of a certificate to pretty much do whatever you wanted. And some people weren't allowed to do what they wanted because if you didn't have a digital green certificate, guess what? You were no longer included in going after just regular activities. And that's what we're actually looking at once they roll out the digital ID. And a quick look to China, and you will get an idea of what we are actually about to experience. But that's enough for me right now. We have very distinguished guests and experts today.
That was Christine Anderson just opening her up there. Well, she's right in what she said there. COVID and the COVID vaccines and the vaccine passports, this was just to get us ready for this. That's what this was for. And I've been told that the cash is just going to stop all of a sudden. They're going to phase it out. They're telling you they're going to phase it out, but then all of a sudden, boom, it's just going to go, no. And that's it. End of story. This guy, his name is Reggie Littlejohn. Okay, now it's just a couple of minutes long, but he knows his stuff when it comes to the digital ID. So I'll play this one here now, and I'll come back and talk about. Hang on, I'll just go through a couple of comments. One of them there. Brendan, yeah, Crow Park promoting Muslim prayer. No, I seen what Ferg put up there. Somebody else put it up as well, that they stopped the game on Friday. I didn't see it, so I honestly I don't know. But I'm not doubting you yet. They probably did. But is it just the evening games? Because he didn't stop any of the games. It must be just the evening. I don't know. I don't know anything about it, to be honest with you. Seeing that Ferg, disgraceful. People don't pay all that money to go to a match. They have to stop and look at them feckers, take a drink or suck a day. yeah. Okay. I didn't actually see it, but I probably would have been pissed off if I was there myself. Yeah. But this guy, Reggie Littlejohn, I'm going to play this and we'll come back and I'll speak.
Planners are keen to introduce digital currency. According to a McKinsey study of 2022, at the time, 90% of all central banks pursue a central bank digital currency project. Okay, and what's new about this? We're being told it's the digital aspect. That's how they're marketing it, and there's various statements from, for example, the European Central Bank and other central banks where they emphasize, oh, you know, we need something digital. It's the digital age, so it's quite natural. Well, is that narrative really true? Because most of the payments we're doing nowadays in our everyday lives have been digital. They've been digital for decades, whether it's debit card payments, credit card payments, Apple Pay, Google Pay, Monzo, even, you know, the ones that appear to be new and novel, well, they still all link back to a bank account. And so banks are involved. And how do banks process this? How are transactions made? Well, our bank money, which is the money we've been using for a long time, certainly at least half a century, is being digital. We have been using digital money. That's an important point because it shows that what they're selling this at as the novelty being the digital aspect is just not true. We've been using what you could call BDC, bank digital currency, for decades. That's not new. The digital aspect is not new. So what is new? What is new about CBDCs? Well, we're using BDC. What's the difference with CBDC? It's the C. What is the C? It's the central aspect. That is the new thing, and they do not emphasize that in their marketing efforts that we have to pay for. So what's really happening is that They want us to move away from what we've had so far, which is decentralized banks and decentralized bank money creation and decentralized digital money to centralized money. This is what this is about. And when you think about that and you realize the centralization aspect is actually the key aspect, then I'm sorry, but the reality is the centralization of power into fewer hands is not a good trend. Fascism was about the concentration of power. Communism was about the concentration of power. Any dictatorship wants to concentrate power. Now, what's the justification for this? They will come up with stories, but when you look at the politics, it's very clear. In our day and age, and where we live, the politics is not convincing, because actually the opposite should happen. We claim to be fans of democracy. That means equal rights for people, participation of people in the decision-making process, not one-way diktats from above by central planners. Now, the politics is clear, there's no justification for this, but they're selling it us on the economics. What about the economics? Well, the economics is also very clear. There's no justification for centralization, even in the economics. What is the economics? Well, in order to have both democracy and economic success and prosperity, we need decentralization. The principle of decentralization is also known as the principle of subsidiarity, officially subscribed to, where we are, by Brussels, but of course in reality ignored almost all the time, is about delegating power and decision-making, the actual decision-making, to the lowest possible level, wherever possible. And it's been shown any organization involving humans will be more successful if you follow that principle, because it works. People on the ground, at the front line, whatever it may be, they can react quickly, they can make decisions. So the decision will be better, it'll be more effective, but also people will be motivated. That's why the Soviet Union didn't really work so well, because you had these crazy instructions which made no sense, but you still had to do it anyway. So this principle is well established. I wrote a paper on this. Subsidiarity is secret of success, and it's an HR journal, employee relations. It's open access, so have a look at it. So we have no political justification and no economic justification, and yet the central planners demand more power and more concentration of power into their hands. And it's pretty bad, I tell you. It's been going on for years. They want to control all transactions. Let's start with transactions. Since the 2014 e-invoicing directive and the regulation 910, the Commission has made law that there will have to be electronic identification in order to allow for the creation of EU digital identity wallets. And some countries have already implemented this. Hungary, of all countries, actually has moved ahead of others in implementing this. And that means that there's no more economic transaction freedom, because as a company, you're not allowed to issue an invoice if it's not through the system with specific software, which is part of the centralized control. And of course, that is the first step to then also intervene and, perhaps stop transactions, whatever you want. Once you have the infrastructure, you can use this power. But it's not just Europe. We see the same trends, just like in 2020, when suddenly everyone had the same very strange list of prescriptions that needed to be implemented. Japan already has a qualified issue invoice registration system, and so on. So what is this? This is actually the fallback plan B route to impose digital ID and total digital control of all our transactions, in case things don't work out so well with Plan A. So we have to be aware that Plan A is central bank digital currency that are programmable. The power to create and allocate new money, which would give this to the central bank, and therefore also transfer fiscal powers, the only sort of remaining power in the hands of parliaments, which is one of the definitions of democracy. parliaments to decide over budget. Obviously, you know, we're not in the parliament here because that's not, you know, that's not the democratic parliament where you don't have those powers. But they want to take them away from those parliaments in Europe that have those powers. The central planners want to take that job.
So you heard what he's saying there, that we've had digital currency, we've had digital for years, and we have, like, direct debits are digital. Everything is digital that we've been doing. Any of direct debits, your debit card, your Visa card, they're all digital, and we've had them for years. Whereas the central bit now, it's that they have it in a central place, and that's what they're doing. That's the whole idea. Until people wake up, it will. Until people wake up, it will be. We are on a ticking time bomb to destruction. If you do your research, our government is not in control of Ireland. And MI6 has huge involvement behind the scenes. I've said that for ages. I spotted that 2 years ago. 2 years ago, yeah. And I did call her out, a few people, and people didn't like that. But hey, it is what it is, you know. But I'm going to just play Elaine Mullally now, right? And then there's a couple more, but I might get Andrew Bridgen in. No, I'm going to play Elaine now, okay? People wild. Yeah, we wouldn't know what to do. And I'm going to pull down a video from young Aaron. Great video. Great. It's not a video, it's on the radio. But I'm going to play Elaine Mullally and we'll come back.
The speakers this afternoon, it was very, very interesting and very informative. So just before I introduce Senator Sharon Keoghan, I just want to make one point, and that is, you know, I know every country thinks that they're the outlier in relation to what's coming down the line. But in Ireland, we take the presidency of the European Council, the Council of the European Union in July of this year. And already we have our Taoiseach, Simon Harris, who said that Ireland is preparing to champion... Slow down a little bit. Oh, okay. Ireland is preparing to champion identity rules and strong protections against online abuse and disinformation. So we're already getting ready to stop free speech, to stop any dissent, to block anybody that wants to challenge the government in particular. And like most other countries, our media is bought by the government. So the only opportunity that we have at the moment of getting free speech out is through social media, and they're obviously going to try and target that. So I'm not taking up any more time. There are 13 countries represented here this afternoon, and I would like to take the opportunity to thank each and every one of you for making the journey. There's 15 from Ireland, and Senator Sharon Keoghan, who's sitting to my right here, is one of the very few politicians in Ireland who stands up and speaks out for the people of Ireland. So I want to welcome you personally, Sharon, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Elaine, and thank you, Christine, for the invitation this afternoon. So in recent weeks, many people will have heard about the very large leak of government-held personal information in Mexico. It affected millions of people. 150 gigabytes of data was stolen. This included documents relating to 195 million taxpayer records, voter records, and the government employee credentials. Now, Mexico may be far away from us, but there is no far away in the digital world. So the lessons this offers us is very close to home. As more countries move towards digital ID systems and centralised digital records, the stakes around information security grow. And in an era shaped by AI, where digital systems are probed, copied and tested constantly, it is becoming harder, not easier, to guarantee that any system is completely safe. What's even more interesting in the Mexico case, the hackers didn't breach the government databases themselves. They got a publicly available AI model to do it. And the way they did this was simply by asking the AI over and over again until it accepted and proceeded to hack the Mexican government over the course of a month. So I want to speak about digital ID in a way that simply looks at the practical realities. Digital ID, at its core, is a centralised holding place for personal information. So when something goes wrong, as we saw in Mexico, the consequences fall not onto governments or agencies, but onto ordinary people who find their private information unexpectedly exposed. My concern is not necessarily with digital tools themselves, but with this growing assumption held by bureaucrats and politicians that every aspect of our personal identity should be stored in a single online system, accessible across platforms and agencies. Digital systems can certainly be helpful, but they ultimately concentrate risk. Because while a big part of the digitalisation push certainly seems to be driven by people interested in controlling others, I think what's more worrying is how it's driven by the sheer naivety of so many leaders who just seem to think digital equals modern and good. Because in the AI era, where large data sets can be copied, analysed and breached more quickly and creatively than before, this naivety makes us sitting ducks. That said, it is also important to acknowledge that some forms of digital verification are not only useful but necessary. At our borders, for example, storing biometric data such as fingerprints can play an important role in managing attempted illegal entries. This kind of information, kept for a specific purpose and under strict safeguards, allows the state to identify individuals who are repeatedly attempting to evade immigration controls. In those cases, digital tools gives us accuracy, clarity, and a way to protect the integrity of our borders. So the question is not whether digital systems are good or bad. The real question is how we use them and where we draw sensible boundaries. A universal digital ID, one system holding most of a person's important information, brings serious risks. This is especially the case when breaches can now happen at a scale that was difficult to imagine even a decade ago. A more balanced approach is to use digital verification where it provides clear benefits while avoiding unnecessary centralisation of sensitive information. What happened in Mexico is a reminder that really nothing is safe when it is online. Even well-resourced governments can't secure their large data sets. It is a reminder to proceed carefully, to ensure that the systems we build protect people rather than expose them. But I think it's also a reminder to recognise that we already have a physical ID system that works and has worked for many years now. So sometimes the safest option is the simplest one.
And it's true, isn't it? Sometimes the safest is. But Sharon, I like Sharon Keoghan, I do, to be honest with you. Some of the things that she does come out with is a bit, you know. But again, none of these have nailed the flags to the mast, you know what I mean? The nationalist mast, you know what I mean? We'll all go out and we'll all protest and we'll all do this. You don't see anyone else coming out protesting with us. You know, I know they think they're doing it in the Dáil and everything else, but there's nothing being done here. Nothing being done. We're the only ones that's out there. We're out there, hail, rain, sleet and snow. And then, you know, I'll play another one of them now in a minute. I'm going to play Andrew Bridgen. Okay, I'll play Andrew Bridgen, and then that's that finished. Then we'll play the rest then on Sunday night. And I have young Aaron speaking, as I said, on the radio. So we play Andrew Bridgen, and we'll come back then. And
Pandemic Treaty and the amendments to the International Health Regulation, we find ourselves once again coming together with a new existential threat being pushed by our governments, and this time it's digital ID. Christine, freedom is under such threat in the UK that as of Friday, a friend and colleague of mine, who happens to have a double doctorate from Cambridge University, was ruled in a court of law that she will go to prison if she speaks to me directly or indirectly, and she has been charged with no crime. That is the state of justice in the UK at the moment. And the UK government has announced mandatory digital ID. through something called the Brit card, which sounds very patriotic, until you realise that Brit actually stands for biometric registration, identification and tracking, which they didn't tell the British people. Our government has now announced, in the face of a public backlash, 2/3 of the UK population have reservations about digital ID and don't really want it. They basically said it's no longer mandatory, but you'll have to have it to be able to function in our society moving forward. Our global masters, the self-proclaimed elites, yes, those people who perpetrate horrendous crimes against children, have decided for us that the social model moving forward will be the Chinese social credit scoring system. They cannot sell that to us through the ballot box democratically, so they have to bring it in by subterfuge, and that is exactly what's happening now. Digital ID is a trap, and it's always better to avoid a trap than to try and get out of it once we're in it. If we agree to digital ID, we'll be giving control of almost every aspect of our lives to our governments. We'll not only be giving every aspect of our lives to our governments, but we'll be giving every aspect of our children's lives, our grandchildren's lives, and indeed generations of our nations yet unborn. Because this digital ID is a one-way street. No government's ever going to give that power up. And to give this much power to any government, you'd have to trust them implicitly. I would ask you, how much do you all trust your governments, particularly in the wake of the pandemic response and the way they treated us? Currently in the UK, we have a government which has the lowest approval ratings ever in history. Apparently it's down to 11% of the population trust the government currently, and quite honestly, given their actions, I'm surprised it's that high. We are always told that the digital ID will make us more secure, safer, and it'll be convenient. History shows us repeatedly that those who are willing to give up freedom for security end up with neither freedom nor security, and the only convenience will be in our government's ability to control every aspect of our lives. When I was in the UK Parliament, I initially suggested, when they talked about digital ID, that we should have a pilot scheme, and it should involve the elected members and the members of the House of Lords, maybe for a couple of years, and we should give the public full access to everything we say, everywhere we go, everything we do, everything we spend our money on. And then perhaps after that pilot, we can have a debate on whether we felt it was intrusive or not. As you can imagine, I didn't get much support across the House for my proposal. So, people will say to you, with regard to digital ID, well, but if you've got nothing to hide, you've got nothing to worry about. That is as ludicrous as saying, I don't need freedom of speech because I've got nothing to say. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, for the sake of humanity, say no to digital ID. For the sake of future generations, those future generations who will never know the freedoms that we gave away for them, and it will not happen in my name. Thank you very much for listening.
He's a good man, Bridget. I have to say, he's a good man, even with all the COVID stuff and everything else. But what he was saying there was about controlling you and everything else. This is a breakdown. Okay, how did Justin Trudeau end the truckers' blockade? The police froze 206 financial products, including bank corporate accounts, disclosed the information of 56 entities associated with vehicles, individuals and companies, shared 253 Bitcoin addresses with virtual currency exchangers, and froze a payment processing account valued at 3.8 million, a police spokesman said. This is what they can do with digital ID. This is exactly what they can do with digital ID. At the flick of a switch, your life is gone. Like the social credit system in China, we've all seen the videos. We've all seen what happens. Like there's thousands of homeless now in China because of this social credit system. They haven't got the credits to buy food. They haven't got the credits to live somewhere. They haven't got this. They haven't got vaccinated, so they don't get their credit system. This is what's going to happen, people. You will have to get, when they tell you to get vaccinated, you have to get vaccinated. If you don't get vaccinated, they'll cut you off your social welfare or whatever else, your housing benefits, whatever it is that you have, your medical cards, you'll be cut off, all of this stuff if you don't do what you're told. So say no to digital ID. And boys, a coffee. I clicked the wrong one. But yeah. So I'm just going to throw this up again. This is just for the... We'll get the Tussler one up now in a few minutes. But this is the Excess Deaths Walk, Friday the 20th of March, 11 a.m, meeting at RTE Studios in Donnybrook. I'm walking 5k to the Irish Times office, Tara Street. Bring a small tree or a plant, a cross, a wreath, a photograph, a memento to leave at the door of the Irish Times to let them know you know. They are covering up 25,000 excess deaths in Ireland since 2021. So please, people, if you can get there, please do. I'll read out some more of this. I donated to the trucker protest and had my details leaked by a hacker, as did many others, Andrew Bridgen is a good man. He was the only MP that fought for the post office workers. Yeah. He was, Taking into consideration the state of our 5 nations as a whole, we need some radical solutions to a shared problem. Okay, I will get this one up to all. Okay, I will get this one up to all. Okay, I don't know what you're doing there. It's really quite simple. Quintana will be back soon. Okay, Quintana, no problem. Chris, WD4, Patrick Quinlan, Gavin Pepper, Glenn Moore, and others got elected on that basis. Lead and people respect that regardless. Okay. I didn't see the other bit. Sorry. Then they will cut me off because I'm never getting vaccinated. I'm the same one. I'm the same. Yeah, who's ringing me? Okay. Bridgen is good. Bridgen is good. Though he's hiding viruses are pure fiction. He says he has some virology shares. So he must know what he's talking about. Okay. An hour and a half on your own, Paul Legend. Thanks very much. I tell you what I'm going to go with now. I done Bridgen. I done Elaine. Sorry, I didn't do Elaine. You know what I meant. Okay. We have a young man, Aaron. He is one of the... He was on the show a couple of weeks ago. He hosted the show with me, remember. But he went on the Neil Pendeville show yesterday morning to talk about the flags. I have to say, Neil was all right with him, but he couldn't not be all right with him because this young fella knew exactly what he was talking about. It's a few minutes long, well worth a watch. I swear, well worth a listen. I'll be back in a minute.
Aaron, good morning.
Good morning, Niall. Thank you for having me on.
Okay, because we spoke a lot. I'm not going to do too much on flags because I've done quite a lot over the last week or so because people are very much divided as to whether it's acceptable for 50, 60, 70 flags to go up on poles all over, say, for instance, the Loch, as an example. Your thoughts?
Well, quite frankly, I mean, when you look at the history of Cork, it was dubbed the Rebel County. A lot of great men came from Cork. Terence McSweeney, the Hale brothers, Michael Collins probably being the most famous. And when you look at them and what they fought for the freedom to put up that flag as well, you know? I mean, when you look at Michael Collins was best friends with Joe Plunkett. He had fought in the Rising, you know? The Rising, one of the first things they did, especially when it comes to Jacob's Biscuit Factory, when that was the outpost taken by Thomas MacDonagh, one of the first things they did was rise up the tricolour. Yep. Now, how would Collins feel about it being taken down now? And I want to remind people that the second they took Jacob's Biscuit Factory back, the first thing they did was take the tricolour down, just as what's happening in Cork now.
You'd make a comparison, would you, between the 1916 Rising and the rising of the tricolour and 60 or 70 tricolours appearing on poles all over the Loch and Ballyfihan and Toker areas?
In some ways I would. I mean, I actually would.
Yeah, because some would say that it's inflammatory.
But how is it inflammatory to fly our own flag in our own country, especially in a county that has such significant history?
No, I know that, but that there is a different message in 60 or 70 of them going up along the lines of perhaps Ireland for the Irish.
What's the message? But hold on, a lot of our leaders had held that view of Ireland being for the Irish. I mean, a lot of the left now want to use James Connolly as their martyr and all that, but a lot of the left don't realise that James Connolly's first major essay, released in October 1896, was titled Ireland for the Irish, and it was Padraig Pearse who said, nothing that has happened...
But you're kind of misinterpreting that, though. Ireland for the Irish then would have been, we want the country back from the British, and we want their domination to come to an end, and we want self-rule, and we want to have our own sovereignty.
Well, hold on then, hold on. We can use James Connolly's other quote where he wanted a government ran by Irish people and a country ran by Irish people. But right now we seem to be receiving a lot of orders from Brussels, from the European Union.
Yeah,
I mean, how would they feel about that?
Yeah. So you don't in any way have an issue with dozens and dozens and dozens of flags. You're saying that's just what? An act of pride in Ireland, yeah?
Yes, I would see it as that. I mean, it's our own country's flag.
Yeah, but that would involve singular flags on flagpoles, not numerous ones appearing overnight.
But what's the problem with them going up? That's the thing. I mean, we're in Ireland. We're in a county with such significant history. There should be flags going everywhere. You shouldn't be able to go 5 metres without seeing a tricolour flag. We have to remind people. You know, when you look at it, Niall, a lot of people have forgotten our history. I mean, where I'm from, I didn't know that the bridge in my town was used as a blockade during the Civil War.
And where are we talking about? Where are you from?
I'm from Kildare myself.
Okay, yeah.
So when you go around, you see so much of our history is forgotten. So many people don't know it, that it's important to bring that pride back to the country, to bring that love of Ireland that used to be held by so many great men. I mean, it's gone at this stage.
And what do you think those great men that you listed off quite eloquently, in fairness to you, you know your history, would make of Ireland in 2026?
I think they'd be wondering what they fought for and what they gave their lives for.
Why?
Well, I'm 17 years old, Niall, and I don't have a future in my own country. I mean, why should I have to compete for housing? Why should I have to compete for jobs? I mean, at the state of Ireland now, I have to emigrate. That's not what they wanted. They wanted the Irish youth to be able to have a future in the country that they gave their lives for. When they see all these young people emigrating off to places like Australia, America, all these places, they'd be disgusted.
Do you believe that you're 17? I wasn't aware. Fair play. Do you believe that will be your future then? Immigration?
No, because I'll always stay in Ireland, you know. I'll always have this love for my country. I'll always have this pride for my country. That I said it before. I mean, I'm a part of a political party. I'm a political advocate, and I said it before in a video up in Dublin that I'm never going to leave this country. I love this country to bits. That I don't care if I'm homeless. I don't care if I'm on the streets living in my car. Ireland is going to be where I am.
What party is that?
Ireland First, ran by Anthony Casey.
Okay. And the message of Ireland First then is that along the lines of Ireland for the Irish, or what?
Well, I mean, we're in Ireland. I mean, when we go to China, it should be China first. If we go to America, America first. If we go to Ireland, it should be Ireland first. Wouldn't you agree, Niall?
I'm not quite sure what you mean by Ireland first, you see. That's the thing.
Well, I mean, I think we need to stop with all this foreign interference.
What's foreign interference? Is that the European Union, or have you issues with it, or is it issues with immigration?
We're donating a lot of money to Ukraine, yet we're in the middle of a housing crisis.
Yeah.
I mean, shouldn't you think that with the amount of people we're importing in, we should actually be building more houses? But instead we're sending, 80 billion off to Ukraine?
It's probably 80 billion, did you say?
Not 80 billion, 80 million maybe.
I think it's a lot higher than that. I think you could add a lot more to it than that. But yeah, I mean, that's a fact. We do help very much in overseas situations, including Ukraine and different countries like that. Do you also have an issue, say, for instance, with the perhaps hundreds and hundreds of millions that's being used to process people who ultimately find that their application is refused?
In Ireland here?
Yeah.
I do have a problem with how much money we're putting into it. I mean, I did a video recently on how much it costs to deport 33 people, and I believe the number, now I could be wrong here, I believe it was €210,000 just to deport 33 people. I mean, do you not see a problem with that as well? We're costing way too much money with this.
And what about people who come in from overseas through the official channels or with paperwork
legally,
or illegally and want to work here and rear a family?
Well, when it comes to legally, I believe there needs to be certain rules set to it, and there needs to be certain quotas, all that. You know, we can't just have a Cade Míle Fáilte, come one, come all. We need to have certain guidelines and rules when it comes to that.
Okay. So you're very active for such a young man.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. And what is your plan? Are you doing Leaving Cert? Have you finished secondary school? Where are you at?
I'm actually in work. I went out on my break. My boss was kind enough to let me on my break early. But no, I'm 100% going into politics. I mean, I have the full intention to run for the local elections during the next one, and then after that onto the general election, hopefully.
Okay. In Kildare?
Kildare, yes. I'm already as well. I'm the co-leader of the youth wing of Ireland First also.
Okay.
So I'm trying my best.
Okay. Nice to catch up with you.
Thank you very much, Niall. You know, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Thanks
You're
for
not
listening.
like most of the radio presenters.
Oh, God. I don't know, is that a compliment or a curse?
That is actually a compliment. I have to say.
Everybody deserves a voice, but you have to have checks and balances. But everybody deserves a voice, including you. And it's good to catch up with you, Aaron. Best of luck to you. Take care.
Thank you very much. Have a lovely day now.
You too. Text 0868 104 106.
What a guy. I swear to God, I heard that interview yesterday and I sent him a voice message straight. I'm so proud of him. I swear to God, he's great. And I'm glad we have him. He's with us. He's running the youth wing. He's him and there's two of them running it. And they're doing a great job. And they're getting lots of kids in. Lots of youths are talking to them and joining them. We want Aaron will be our Charlie Cork. He'll be going out to the schools and doing what he has to do because, by God, that young man knows his history. I swear to God. And I have to say, he said it to me yesterday. He said, fair play. He said, it's because I've been on the Irish column with you and the whole lot. He said, I know how to talk to media now and I know how to do this, that, and the other. So, as I said, he's a gem. I swear to God, he's a gem. Yeah. Sound gone. What's the sound gone? Is that your phone again? It must be your phone. He will probably never get on again. No, I think he will. Listen, your man Pendeville can be all right. You know what I mean? I've heard him going on a bit, but he can be all right. You know what I mean? He's a great lad. Good man, Aaron. He did try to get you into it. He did. Don't be ashamed of to be Irish Force. Yeah, good man, Aaron. No, he did. He tried and he was dead wide, and I loved it the way he just. Like the history, for a young fella at 17, he knows his history, you know what I mean? He was naming names there, and I go, I've heard of them, but I didn't know that's what that was, and that's what that was. First episode of his podcast released earlier was good. That's right. Yeah, Aaron's podcast went up this morning at 10 o'clock. You'll get it on Gale Force Media, lads. It's up there on it's on Gale Force Media. Sorry, what you call it? The Gale Force Media YouTube channel. That's where it is. Yeah, it's gone up there. Went up there this morning. Sound is grand here. Aaron is a fantastic young gentleman. Yes, he is. Yeah, he is. And I hope he's watching. Should get Aaron to do a video about the siege of Baltimore and Cork. He'll be doing lots of things. Don't you worry. That young man has aspirations. And I'm going to be honest, if I can help him or we can help him in any way, we will help him. Don't you worry. Checks and balances, me arse. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to move on. Okay, we're at 142. Fair play. We're going good. As I said, I'll show the other ones from. I'm sure it'll have me putting them up on whatever day it is. I just want to. Yeah, this is Tom at McDonald. It's only a couple of seconds long. Look at this.
That's the first major increase now for a long time. But that you can put a 2 in that in another month. It'll be $2.99 a litre. And the government gets approximately 55% of that between excise duty, VAT, and carbon. That carbon, yeah. That's a good racket too. Well done, lads.
199. Now it's 183 here where I am. Now I don't know where they're buying it. That's I don't know. But I remember years ago it went up. Do you remember it went up to 205? I think it was. I think it was 205. I was driving the BMW at the time, and it went from 165 up to 205. It could have been around the time of the crash, but it went from 70 quid to fill my tank to 116 quid to fill my tank in the space of about 6 weeks. Oh, it was mental. It was nearly double. But that's what's going to happen here now. That's exactly what's going to happen here now. So fair play to Tom for that. But he is right. That will go up. And we said this the other night on the show. Once that Strait of Hormuz is blocked, that's the oil coming out of there, Donald Duck. Simple. You know, who's buying American oil now? You know what I mean? I think they're all right. They're still buying the oil, from, I think Pakistan are still buying the oil from Iran. on the QT, so they're all right. You know what I mean? They're heating their arses. But Simon Harris was asked yesterday. Wait near here what he was asked.
German security services have said they're vigilant about the potential for sleeper cells who might try to carry out attacks in Europe against American institutions in the middle of this conflict that we're seeing in the Middle East, and that there's a potential spillover into European streets and countries in the EU. Is that something that you'd be concerned about? Is that something that the state is monitoring at all?
So I've no intention of commenting on kind of national security issues, other than to say, of course, we monitor all of these issues very carefully and very closely, and there's been no change to our security status or threat levels in this country. There's a very specific process in place should those be changed, but obviously we're continuing to monitor the situation globally and any potential impact for Europe, and of course Ireland is part of Europe.
Like, this is around the world. The world is on high alert here for potential ISIS attacks. And this gobshite just brushing it off. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I will not be going near the Patrick's Day Parade. I haven't brought my kids to the Patrick's Day Parade in years for that simple reason. I don't want to be stuck in that situation in case something like that does happen, because that's the ideal time they'll do it. And they will do it to hurt kids and hurt everyone else. That's what they do. They inflict pain. And the way they do it is they kill kids because they know how much that hurts us and everyone else. You know, this is why there's pedos out there. These pedos do this to because kids are the closest thing to God. That's the problem here. And these people hate God, you know. Simon Harris would make any sane man mental. Yeah, boatloads. Yeah. But like, we know, like, there's listen, the cells lying here, the splinter cells lying here. I don't care. I've been told 85% of the people in these migrant centres, in these IPAS centres, are Muslim. What are they doing? You know what I mean? These are ex-soldiers, all ex-soldiers. Michael O'Keefe put out a video the other day about it too, of these guys out doing the hand signals and doing this, Afghani soldiers and everything else, you know? It's not the St. Patrick's Day Parade, it's the United Nations Day Parade. Yeah, it's horrible. Yeah, I was at it. I think I was at it 2 years ago. Actually, the show is 3 years old on Paddy's Day. Like, I started all this on Patrick's Day. Patrick's Day 23 was the first live that we done, yeah. And yeah, here we are 3 years later. What? Isn't that mad? Love you, folks. I'm going to sign off. Cheers. Take it easy, mate. Talk to you on Sunday, please, God. Ireland needs to be Ireland, and if people can't live by rules set out by the traditions, they should leave. And Ireland needs to pull out of the EU and to become own country again and have our own currency. I agree with you, Chris. I agree with you. I've been talking about, like, I was with the IFP, and we were an Irish party. You know what I mean? And we're an Irish party too. We want to get out of Europe as well with Ireland Force. So Irish is the way to go. I'm just waiting for Vincent to pop it in there 3 times. Irish. He usually does that. He's usually on the ball. Sleeper cells, indeed. Just waiting for the order. Now you have it, Chris. Take care, Galloway. Yeah, take care. Now you have it. Did I pull the git in there? Just bear with me there. Da-na-na-na. Da-na-na. Speaking of migrants, yeah, here's Derek Domino talking about migrants. This is what the migrants are getting while our people are dying on the streets. We've had 6 deaths in the last 3 weeks. 6 deaths in the last 3 weeks of homeless people on the streets in Dublin. Meanwhile, this is what these are getting.
Is there no end to the generosity, to the virtue signalling, to the largesse of the Irish state and indeed the Irish taxpayer? Check this out. Oh, that looks pretty fancy. Oh, all new, nice and snazzy and comfortable. Comfy. Well, that must be for Irish people. No, it's absolutely not for Irish people, because this is the modern Irish state. This is for migrants. This is for asylum seekers. Brand new everything, spick and span and ready to go. If you happen to be from the Congo, Sudan, Mongolia, Timbuktu, Somalia or Vanuatu. Now, if you happen to be an Irish person and fall in hard times or happen to be homeless, well, the park bench is the place for you. And if you happen to be there on a cold, frosty night, which we have many of, well, that's just tough because the Irish government is far too busy providing this for all our illegal scam artist, rip-off merchant, new to the parish friends.
Fair play to Derek there. He got in the excess deaths right at the end there as well. Fair play to him. He's a good one too. I like Derek, I have to say. I like his content. But yeah, I'm going to just share this just to show you this is disgusting what happened today in the courts. I think it wasn't anyway. The family circus has to end, says judge, as Enoch Burke's mother and sister are jailed for contempt. Behaviour of family members truly exceptional and has to be seen to be believed. The judge has ordered the imprisonment for 2 weeks of the mother and sister of jailed anti-transgender school teacher Enoch Burke, saying it is long past time, and the court called a halt to the family circus. Again, as we started off the night, this is just to stop other teachers from coming out and saying anything about it. That's all this is. I have the git now. I will finish off now with the git because I got to finish up. Seeing as though I'm on my own, I'm about to go through a good few there, didn't I? So I'll just play the git here now and we'll come back and talk about this.
The Garda Commissioner has raised concerns about the threat posed by anti-migrant terrorism and the radicalisation of young people online. It was only a matter of time that the people with genuine concerns about the immigration into this country and speaking out against it were going to be labelled as domestic terrorists. Never mind the terror that some of these migrants, that the big bad faraway far right warned about, bring to their victims and their families. For example, in the last week or so alone, man jailed for 6 years for sexually abusing a woman at Clare swimming pool. She was also a vulnerable woman. Akbar Mokadar. A good strong Irish name, eh? Former Brazilian footballer jailed for 9 years for raping teen at knife point in Cork bedroom. Suspended sentence for man found in possession of child sex abuse material. Bipolar man. Foreign man assaulted teenager at Dublin airport. A 31-year-old man has been sentenced to 6 months arising out of a careless driving that led to the death of an unborn baby. And if we jump back this day a year ago, a Jordanian man who falsely claimed to be a Syrian asylum seeker has been jailed for a violent sex attack. You can do that any day of the week, and you'll come across migrant crime that has caused terror to their victims. Oh, and about this from last week, first picture of man charged with burgling house in Meath with intent to commit rape. Attempted rape of a 16-year-old, I might add. I have people telling me this lad is Irish. He was born in Ireland. It doesn't make him Irish. He has 2 African parents who migrated here. He's a second-generation migrant that didn't assimilate into our society. What a surprise. And the 16-year-old girl has to live with the terror of what nearly happened to her. But it's okay, sure, he has mental health issues and sure, it was only a cry for help. If the day comes that I'm labelled a domestic terrorist for trying to protect my family, my community and my country, and warn people of what's going to come at the hands of these migrants, and what's already coming and already here, the terror that some victims have to live with already, well, I'll wear that badge with pride.
Fair play to Mick. But it's shocking. It's shocking, lads. Like the courts, I was in the courts today. Now, where I was today, there was no furtherance. But you go into Dublin courts any day, you can actually, I think Patrick McGreal put up a video a couple of weeks ago to show you how you can actually get in and get the court lists. You log in as a guest and there's something you put in the whole lot. But there's a video on Patrick McGreal's thing. But you go in there any day you go in there and I can guarantee you will 3 out of 4 is foreign, whether they be Chinese, whether they be African, whether they be Eastern European, whether they be Roma gypsies. It doesn't matter. They're not Irish people. It's like as though our lads have taken a kicker, they've gone and had a break. You know what I mean? And these guys are just running riot. Maybe there's nothing left to rob in the town after these are finished robbing. You know what I mean? But hey, I don't know. But it is disgusting what's going on in the courts. Every one of them has an interpreter. Okay? And, you know, even when they don't turn up for court, seen this last week, 2 guys didn't turn up for court. The interpreter still has to be paid. This could be all a hump to my diddle, lads. These could be ringing and saying, I'm not going in today. Well, I'm going in anyway to get paid. Yeah, you go in and anyway, you'll get paid. You know what I mean? Yeah. Has a stink in Minnesota off it, I swear to God. Yeah, Minnesota. NB to you, Paul, holding the show on your own. Thanks, mate. Fair play, yeah. Horrifying and everyone horrified. Yeah, as a domestic terrorist. Yeah, yeah. We're all domestic terrorists now. Yeah. I've been a domestic terrorist. You've been calling me that shit for years. Like, you know what I mean? Just as I guessed, the fucking Brahma waves floating on. Boy, just there. Yeah, bollocks. Or Arab names, yes. This is costing a lot of money through the court system. It's costing millions through the court system, lads. Honestly, yeah. Next door, the house went up for rent this morning, approximately 35 just in the morning. Turned up 33 Indian, Pakistan, and 2 Irish lads on a motorbike. You can bet your arse Podge and Roger didn't get the gaffing anyway, did they? Yeah, Dublin the stand. Yeah. Good night, Paolo. Good night. Fair play to you. I'll talk to you tomorrow, Fair. Yeah, I'll give you a shout tomorrow. Hello, fellow terrorists. Yeah, you were all terrorists there. Mongrels, terrorists, scumbags, Pharaoh. Listen, it's the list goes on and on and on. Party, thank you, Paul. Great to watch to all my fellow Celts watching. Much love to all men and women of Era. Our day will come again, proud Celtic Catholics. Yeah, I agree. I'll be there, standing in the front. Anchor babies need to be deported as well with their parents. We obviously have money to burn when we are giving it to foreign countries. Yes, exactly. Take care, Ferg. That's what you're saying there. Yeah. But I'm just going to finish off with Mr. Trump, okay, talking about Europe and how Spain and the UK didn't help him out. So this is quite good. He doesn't mince his words.
European nations have been helpful and some haven't, and I'm very surprised. Germany has been great. He's been terrific. Others have been very good, terrific. I think that the head of NATO, Mark, is fantastic. Okay, Mark Rutte. I think he's fantastic. But some of the European, like Spain, has been terrible. In fact, I told Scott to cut off all dealings with Spain. Spain, first of all, it started when every European nation, at my request, paid 5%, which they should be doing. And everybody was enthusiastic about it, Germany, everybody. And Spain didn't do it. And now Spain actually said that we can't use their bases. And that's all right. We could use their base if we want. We could just fly in and use it. Nobody's going to tell us not to use it. But we don't have to. But they were unfriendly. And so I told him, we don't want to. Spain has absolutely nothing that we need other than great people. They have great people, but they don't have great leadership. And as you know, they were the only country that in NATO would not agree to go up to 5%. I don't think they would have agreed to go up to anything. They wanted to keep it at 2%, and they don't pay the 2%. So we're going to cut off all trade with Spain. We don't want anything to do with Spain. And I'm not, by the way, I'm not happy with the UK either. That island that you read about, the lease, okay, he made it for whatever reason, he made a lease of the island. Somebody came and took it away from him. And it's taken 3-4 days for us to work out where we can land there. It would have been much more convenient landing there as opposed to flying many extra hours. So we are very surprised. This is not Winston Churchill that we're dealing with.
It's not Winston Churchill, he's right. It's a slimy piece of shit, Starmer. I tell you. Okay, guys, before I go, I'll just share this again. Just if anyone wants to buy us a coffee. Or a half a coffee, seeing as though I was on my own. Thanks very much. I'll put the other thing in the comments as well. Trump is like, where are you from? Spain. Fake news, boy, Spain. Yeah, I know, you're mad, isn't he? Good night, all from Tyrone. Paul, keep her lit, lad. Eyes open. No fear. Be safe, everyone. Yeah. See you later. Night all. Trump is using this war as a distraction of the Epstein files. His name was mentioned over. Come on, Barry. It wasn't. Barry. There was no way it was mentioned. It was mentioned something like 16 or 18 times. I looked through it. Like, are you a Democrat, Barry? Because if you're a Democrat, well, then you believe it's 10,000 times. But it's not. It's nowhere near 10,000 times. No, it's only a couple of times. It's not very many times. Now, I'm not saying, I don't know whether he had anything to do with him or anything like that, but it's not. You know what I mean? Night, everyone. Good night. God bless. Fair play for the solo job tonight. Great job. Cheers. Thank you. Good night. God bless. Did he not report Epstein? Yes, he did. Yeah, John Langan. Fair play to John. Thanks very much. He released the files. That's what counts. Yeah, exactly. But if you go over and listen, there's a video there from last week. I have it saved. I'll play it on whatever night, Sunday night. But there's redacted names, and the guys that's doing the deposition are calling out the names to one of the senators. Had you any dealings with such a body and such a body? Had you any dealings with such a body and such a body? Sure, they're the redacted names. So there you go. They're not redacted anymore. Catch up. Ehama, yeah. My hamster Bobby was mentioned in the files. Trump is doing it for Israel. At least now we know why he took Venezuela for oil. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Cheers, Paul. Cheers. Okay, guys. 2:01. We're at that flying out there. He barred at Mar-a-Lago. That's right. He did. The only man you can trust is our Lord Jesus Christ. He is your master and savior, not Trump. I agree. I do agree with you. Well, okay. Thank you very much for tuning in tonight. Fair play to everyone. We went over 600 there. We're just over 600 for the live watchers. So fair play to everyone. Anyone who contributed tonight, anyone who bought a coffee, thank you very much. And we'll be back here Sunday night. Well, I'll be back with the lovely order. Like I say every night when I'm leaving here, the truth is like a lion. You don't have to defend it. You just let it loose and it will defend itself. Good night and God bless.